Well, here we are and ready to go for another round here at the 23rd HITE JINRO Championship from the Blue Heron Golf Club. The second of 4 rounds in this final major championship of the 2023 LPGA Tour of Korea season. So glad you can join us for this Friday afternoon, where we will cut the field down by day's end from 104 to about 70. And really get a clear indication of who our favorites will be heading into a very high-stakes weekend. We find ourselves beginning the round with a simple uphill putt for a par. Another wonderful day of 20 degrees with mostly sunny skies, just a few clouds popping through to paint the blue. Off to an incredibly fast start today. EA1, our leader by 3 strokes over Sung Eugene, currently occupying a share of the 3rd position. Last to finish on hole number 12. Everyone walks off with their pars. To the par 4, where the first of our approach shots has gone long and driven itself into the rough. That was the effort from Kim Soo-ji. It's a tricky pin placement today on this par 3, right off the front. This is Park Young, who's had a difficult day thus far at +2 for the tournament, but 4 over through 10 holes. Looking for a better back 9 as she plays 6-iron off the tee on this par 3. And she finds the left edge expertly. Be a downhill putt of about 3 meters for birdie. Well, this is hole number 12. It's a par 4 of 366 meters. The dog leg left. Fairway bunker on the left side for your first shot in play, which is about 11 yards downhill from the teeing ground. From there, a fairly level shot up towards the green with the big clover leaf defending the front right and 3 bunkers at its rear. Pin today at 12, 24 yards off the front, 8 yards from the left side. This is a fairly consistent strategy. Try and start as far right as you possibly can, and then play, in a perfect world, just a little draw. Not a ton of wind today, as we can see. The trees are fairly still. 2.7 meters per second is the average at the moment, and falling. High in the air, and a fairly straight shot with little shape to it. Looks like it will be a fairway missed in regulation. And now Sung Eugene, 3 back as she is even for the day thus far. Going with the hybrid. Bogeyed the first hole, birdied the 6th. All pars on the other 9. And drops that in nicely with a little kick to the left, our left. And she will be joining her group mate in the rough. Only one of the trio in play off the tee. And here's EA1 we see her for the first time this afternoon. Went right off the tee. She has 126 to go. Pin is about middle. A final third in terms of the depth. Here is her up from the rough. Lands that a little bit too deep, and she'll roll off the back all the way down towards our camera tower there. Kimioni, little runner from an uphill perch, takes way too much speed. She might not stay on the green here. Stops at the border of the rough. Of course, she's one of, if not the biggest story after round 1. She played on the Dream Tour until the last half of the season last year. Debuted on the Senior Tour this season. And another shot where control is paramount. weight is much more towards what the doctor would have ordered. And Kim Min-ju at +3, her second on the par 4 13th. Flies that up expertly. It's nicely struck. Nice pickup. Very positive momentum building type of putt. That one, Kim Soo-ji, you could tell, was never fully confident standing over. It does indeed just fade right and away. From nearly the fringe here, Park Young in a desperately needed birdie, trying to salvage her round, her first of the day after a couple of bogeys and a double on the front nine. that is just and only just. I'm going to give her a faint glimmer of hope. Couldn't stay up on the top shelf at the back. And Jung-Soo Gi finds herself on the fairway here at 12. The only one to have just avoided it. And you can see just over the hill we find the pin. A little bit too much ball flight that time. Stopped in the back hill above the pin. EA1 unable to take advantage. It's well off, in fact. Big swing off the tee and just nestling into the second cut, bordering the rough. Kim Soo-ji continues to march along with a nice up. Kim Min-ju, down, up, down, and most importantly up again. Back to even for this back nine thus far. And an unfortunate bogey for EA1, who sees her lead condensed ever so slightly. Though the chasing pack isn't necessarily keeping fire to her heels.
슬라이스가 여기부터라고 봐줬어요.
많진 않은데.
많이 없어요.
좌우가 다 많진 않은 것 같아요.
여기도 그렇고 조금 쏟아지는 물막이
형님은 이렇게 빽빽한
빼 치워줄게.
A little chip and run from the rough. Now the ball needs to stop. Keep it close, about 4 feet. Definitely workable. Kim Jae-hee here at 13, about 110. Great spot on the fairway to attack. Full swing maybe takes her all the way there, but she goes right at the pin. After the bogey from EA1, Sung Eugene can move within 1. It would take an unlikely birdie, but she could be there after this putt. There goes the runner, fading on its way. Good try. Kim Soo-ji. This is a tense par as there's still some work to do here. An enviable position above the hole with some break. Moving back on line to the very end where it halts its left to right momentum. She'll be going down from there, unfortunately. Hasn't struggled with any level of inconsistency through the first 11 holes, but it will be her first bogey. Sung Eugene hoping to avoid an identical fate. tell how much pressure she's putting on herself with this putt to stay within 2. Just enough, and a sigh of relief, no doubt. It's a good birdie, good par, excuse me. Keeps her at even for the round. Well, the A1 has really brought an unparalleled level of success to this round. One of just 3 players under par today. She's hoping that the bogey she had at the last will be a rarity and not the norm on the way in. Also able to convert on a par and exit the green with no change in score. Starting on the long left to right, that would have had the line with just a little bit more power. After escaping with her par, she doesn't start on the front foot, Sung Eugene. Into the rough she goes. These fairways, they are remarkably narrow. It is definitely a championship course. Really good representation of the extent to which this is a downhill tee shot. Need to start this online because there is very little room for forgiveness, as that lesson was just repeated. 0 for 2 to start from this group. And last but not least, with a wide open fairway. And she's going to get a fortuitous kick back into it. Kim Chae-hee at 13. A long way up. This looks promising. Perhaps a bit too much speed. We haven't seen many of those so far through 30 minutes or so. One's biggest priority there was just to keep it close, keep par on the table. And this third shot for Kim Yeon-hee. Kim Chae-hee to save par, already +1. And that stand up and pensive hand on the hip tells you all you need to know. Bogey and +2. A few too many of those on the front nine. Was hoping to leave them there, but has her first of the back nine now. Suji has finally decided on a club, 109. Could have used just a bit more bite. Just stop on the fringe. This is anything but straightforward. Got the rough and a narrow stretch of it at that to contend with. The overhanging tree branches as well. So 107 is just a little punch under the branches, and that is unfortunately the consequence of being in that position. Had to go low to avoid what was above, but because of that, more of a line drive than a pop-up. So Eugene, she's not faring much better, but assuming she can strike this the way she wants to, can still get underneath it, but it is unenviable to have your feet digging into the sand and the ball solid 2 feet above them. Anything but a run-of-the-mill stroke. Not sure the last time she would have practiced a shot like that, but it looks like it's a regular one in her arsenal. It's nicely played. We go to 14. Eugenie with the driver. Fairly straight tee shot, and then the big move left comes from the fairway with the water off to the left. And now No Sung-yi bounces over the ball marker, and that actually might have helped her. Should have been online anyways, but she's certainly got an assist. She gets a birdie and goes to +1. Kimiani just leaving herself with a little too much to do. It's a double bogey and a bogey. The only birdie today came at the first. She has dropped all the way back down to even par for the tournament, which, depending on this shot, is 4 back. Makes it quite spicy should she miss, but this one wouldn't even call it mid-range. A nice short, slight uphill putt should be no problem. And is able to recover from the bogey at the last, and has just a few holes to try and get a bit more padding. Just trying to blast that through the tall grass, and I believe the first swing was a stroke. Sounded like she had struck it. Sometimes we use tall grass or thick grass loosely. No, this is a proper hayfield. And with tree branches in your hair, on your neck, on your shoulders, it is not enviable. It's the balance of needing to get it out, obviously, but needing to stay on the green, as this is number 4.
나이스.
Well, she'll take that.
나이스.
Significantly better than many of the alternatives. But now absolutely has to ensure that this next stroke is her last on the hole, as it will be for bogey. Kim Soo-ji up towards the back. Right on line. She's going to get some help here too. This is an exceptional approach. One of her best of the day. And a putt down from the fringe now. It is going to break left. It is going to go left to right. She's got it aligned left. Stays fairly straight. Her weight was right on. Good speed. Kimani putting for birdie from off the green. Just about finds her stroke to return to even. Just flashes away at the end. Well, Sung Eugene, this is her look at par. It is not going to drop for her. I don't think any member of this group is going to be disappointed about leaving this hole. Chung Soo-gi, she misses this, she's dropping 2. Nicely done. It is more than a fair result considering where she was just a few minutes ago. Literally under a tree. A little tap to get this running through the fringe, and here comes the speed. Uh-oh. It's too much. And that is gonna roll for another 10 seconds or so. she hardly nudged that from the fringe. Any less than she might not have got through it. And she ends up just about back on the fringe once more. She's watching that helplessly. And yes, all the way down. And with about a 4-foot effort, Kim Soo-ji. And she's able to keep herself at 1 under. This is the return for Kim Jae-hee. This time she has to give it one heck of a swing, and she might have it. And she was able to watch the break as it inched further and further away from her. And clearly she committed that read to memory. But unfortunately it is a shot dropped. Back to back now to +3 and outside of the top 10. Kochi with a right to left putt that she definitely overhits. Check back in with our leader. 138 to go. 2 sand traps and the water hazard to the right side of the fairway, all the way down towards the pin, which today is in that right jut out. She goes to the left side and will have a long putt back to the opposite side of this green as the camera slowly zooms out to reveal it. Call this a fraction over 5 feet. Offline. We'll take a tour of hole number 14 next. Already established a dogleg left with the water, separating the 2 fairways. And from about the end of that tree there, before the hazard, it's 100 meters to the front of the green. Pin today all the way at the back left. In that section where it slopes down towards the corner. with a relatively short distance from the teeing ground to the end of the fairway. A lot of irons off the tee here. Fours or fives, or of course the hybrid, another option. This actually looks like 5 wood for Kim Soo-ji, not known as a power hitter. He's just going to avoid the worst of the rough. And that leaves Jung Soo-gi. Slightly left, nowhere near as treacherous a landing point as where she had been at the previous hole. Almost an hour into our second round coverage. We'll take a quick break, update the leaderboard for you as well. EA1, it is a 2-stroke advantage over Sung Yoo-jin, Kim Soo-ji, and Jung Soo-gi, sharing joint third. With our projected cut line today at +10. And at the moment, we have 67 players at that mark or lower here at the Blue Heron Golf Club, live from Yeoju in the Gyeonggi-do province, our final major of the season on the KLPGA Tour. A 36-hole facility here at Blue Heron, 6,184 meters of course to play, nestled into the mountains. Beautiful afternoon. We're thankful to have you along with us. The A1, the long way back across the 15th hole. It's pretty good, all things considered.
안 돼, 이제 거기 있어. 내려, 안 돼.
Working our way to about 8 or 9 meters. Certainly championship conditions this week, mentioned earlier, but worth repeating, only 3 players under par today. And anything but straightforward. Gi, of course, is one of them. She had a 70 yesterday, playing her second from the rough. Runs that up through the fringe and will have the requisite speed to carry. She'll be the furthest from the pin of her group, but not a bad effort from there.
언제 앞에 거를 그래서 오늘
The official top of the hour reset here. The second of what we expect to be just under 2 more, with only about 5 holes on average still to go in round 2. 1.2 billion won is what is up for grabs this weekend. We've had HITE be a sponsor of this tour for more years than any other company. They truly have invested in this tour, this championship. It's great to have them around. The oldest single sponsor on the KLPGA. Tabo House Day Open was when Pak Ju-young, now 33 years of age, finally achieved that first victory. Ended up playing with a renewed layer of focus and belief this week. It's a +4, or it is a +4, excuse me, that she's on pace for after going 1 under in the opener yesterday. Chungsugi, the first to go, and not quite
오케이, 붙었지.
enough velocity to get all the way to her target. Inching ever closer, but just coming up short. And over 3. 3 good tries, none to show up on the scoreboard though.
오케이. 붙어.
왜 요번엔 여기 타워 안 했어요? 네?
And that's just, and only just, will find pay dirt. Sung Eugene back within 1. Birdie number 2 of the day. Throws her head back up, knowing how close she was to not needing that final putt. Well, anytime there's a zoom in that close to the water hazard, you know that something didn't go the way it was supposed to. Still waiting for official confirmation whether or not that did find the drink. It's going to be an unenviable stroke, nevertheless. In the meantime, we go up the hill to the par 3 16th with our leader, EA1. Back left is where she wants to be, and look out along the cart path. That is trouble. I do not envision a situation where that has stayed in bounds. She has just looked slightly out of sorts in the 70 minutes or so that we've been following her around. She's waiting for some kind of flag, red or white, to tell her if she needs to be shooting again. The clubhouse cutout, the ever winding route to the facility here. Will be a raucous occasion in about 48 hours' time. EA1, she is in some trouble on 16 and might be vacating that top spot when we come back to rejoin. It was not the tee shot she needed with Sung Eugene applying the pressure. We'll see what transpires on the other side of this quick break. Well, to call that a tough spot for A1 might be an understatement. We'll see how she plans to handle that predicament. But in the meantime, Sung Eugene, who is the closest to meeting or overtaking her on the leaderboard, plays a nice drive to get started on the 15th. She has, without hyperbole, been the best player this season. It just goes to prove that this sport does not care. Even the best have these moments of unpredictability. Leaves Chung Soo-gi is the last to tee off. Only 4 holes to go for this group. She's off with a strong drive as well. Slightly misaligned to the left. She has struggled to find her fairways in regulation today. So after all that, EO1 decided it was in fact unplayable, so she is going to reverse back up. That's some very good driving. And she's going to take the penalty and redo this tee shot.
네, 하겠습니다.
That is quite the putt. That is worthy of a roar. She was due, Kim Chae-hee. That would have been 3 bogeys in a row, if not for that heroic finish to the hole. That is much more like it. Just about pin high. It is right when she would have preferred to be left, but considering where the first attempt had gone. She'll take it. The effort for birdie goes offline. Be about 3 feet for par. Kim Soo-ji with a little low line drive. Has the legs to reach the green, but not much more. She had the entire width of the green to work with, wanted to be right, and pulls that. Just about all the way back to the fringe.
아까 카트 뒤로 보이 넘어갔어요. 쳤다가
카트 뒤로 보는 거.
거기를 쳤다가
Working ever closer. Right on. Yeah, one that is a huge putt. It is still a bogey, but after a poor first shot, not a great second shot, she comes all the way back across the width of this green and ensures she is only conceding one stroke. So it does see her now sharing the lead with Sung Yoo-jin at 3 under, Jung Soo-gi at 2, Kim Soo-ji at 1. Park Young +4 today. She's still playing in the final group that we will be following into the clubhouse, but certainly not the day she had envisioned. Much better from Peng Min-ji, of course, at an even par today. +5 is tied for 20th as we work our way down to +10, which is our projected cut in this 23rd HITE JINRO Championship. We move right along this 23rd HITE JINRO Championship. Tee shot to the fairway, and now an approach, or what should have been a putt for birdie, but it ends up being the first of an up and down She has just been off the mark in each of the first 3 shots here, Chung Soo-gi. And a high-arcing shot on this par 3. Down the left side and getting a little bit of help. This is going to be within 5 feet or so. This might be within 3 feet. Like, yeah, let me just check the rangefinder to make sure. And then she looks back at the car she could have won, torturing herself. What a shot. Chung Soo-gi, meanwhile, still away on Kim Soo-ji, excuse me, still away on 15, about the same position from where Chung Soo-gi will play hers in a moment. Just breezes by the inside left of the hole. Not quite as pinpoint accurate, but still quite excellent. I have to think that her extended putt to avoid another bogey might have just injected some more confidence in. Chung Soo-gi, meanwhile, to about 3 feet shy. So that had been her 4th shot of the hole. She will be going down again. Pitching wedge for A1 on the 17th. It's much less eventful, and that should be just fine with her today. On this hole, I should say, not today. She certainly has had anything but a run-of-the-mill afternoon. She's been one of the best on course, which is becoming increasingly true for Sung Yoo-jin, a co-leader now. From the back left side of the green, it's looking right, and it needs the slow. Should have no problem with par. If they use this birdie, she'll have all weekend. Im Chee-ni is able to move back to even. That is tied for 5th position. out a 7-footer that had the speed, but drifts away at the last moment. The penultimate group exits hole 15, and that bogey's confirmed. Chung Soo Ki drops back 2 even. The slightest left to right break, but a fairly straightforward putt for Kim Chae-hee. Gave herself too much of a berth to the inside, and unfortunately that smile that was on her face not too long ago has disappeared in a blink of an eye. Now EA1, yes, she's back. Just a momentary departure from the lead. 1 hole to go. She is on top of the standings by 1 stroke, and what an exceptional putt this is. For many, many reasons, she has been uncatchable this season. Tee shot to pin high. Fairly closer than EA1's effort had been. Her second time through, of course. This is going to follow a similar path. Slightly beyond, but 6.5, 7 feet at the most. Really well struck tee shot. from those tee shots. A couple of birdies should be the minimum expectation. Lee won with a big time putt at the 17th to restore her lead. Sung Eugene on the green at 16 trying to respond. They are in a shootout here in round number 2 of 4 of the 23rd HITE JINRO Championship. the first of the putts at 16 sets the bar high. She is proving she is not going anywhere in the race to be the leader by day's end. Sung Eugene's birdie. Brilliant little touch. That slight right to left fade. Next effort uphill and matching a birdie. Good boost for Chung Soo Gi, who has her first birdie since hole number 7 and goes to 1 under. Genie at 17 has found herself off the fairway in the rough to the right. Gonna muscle this up and out. Couldn't keep that down. She's gonna be off the back. Suji for a perfect 3 for 3, yes. The birdies are contagious. Goes the third, her first of the day. Took her 16 holes, but she's finally there and is within 2. WA1. 5-1 in hand to take out the remaining distance of the fairway. Stop just before the creek. And now Evgeny has met her putt. And the long crescent shape back over the little hill. She's gonna pick up some speed here. How's her line?
Nice
It's
touch.
pretty good.
Nice touch.
Two under today. She has matched what she has done yesterday. Just by virtue of the 2 holes remaining, you think one more birdie. And it would definitely be enough to share the lead at the very least.
고.
Gets back to basics and not try to swing through this. Definitely have to try and bump up these FIR numbers this weekend. Just gonna stop the very edge by the first cut. It's better, and it's not left. Two things to build on. Back in time to 16. Kimiani, she is over par now, +4. Has not been a group that has seen many a birdie today. She's not thrilled. Probably had felt that she'd flown it too much. It's not an impossible birdie from there by any stretch.
노란선 안에 있어?
And now E1 set up shot for a final birdie today with a remarkable amount of spin. Gets that to stop on a dime and should feel like a birdie will hardly be a thought. Puts a little bit more pressure on Sung Yoon-jin, who has 2 holes to play in the final group, having just teed off on their last par 3 as we near the end of hour number 2. About an hour to the finish line here at Blue Heron. Sugi first to play the approach. It is definitely a test of nerves and bravery with a front located pin in the second round. Blast from the tee from Kim Soo-ji at 18 finds the rough. All the way back to the fringe. Not enough carry, that's the other side of that coin. And it's about pin high for Sung Eugene. She's made tougher putts than that today. Let's see if she can go 2 for 2 here. Drives daring that right side. 2 of them find the fairway. And Kim Min-ju to end the day. And her first 2 rounds at +4. Just a little nudge to get it started. There's a loop around the hole, but does drop for her. You on 4 feet at most for one final birdie today. Going OB at 16, could have derailed her round, but she didn't let it. Ends with 6 birdies on the day. It is a 68 in round number 2. Kimiani hovering, going up and down from even. This to go back to it. Push to the outside right. And from the fringe, this looks good. Fantastic putt. Absolutely one worth celebrating. Kim Soo-ji, it took her 16 holes to get her first. Now she has back-to-back and is within 2. Of course, already one major under her belt this year, the Hanwha Classic. Turned in countless performances week after week. What does a weekend have in store? it comes. Loses its tail. Stops just short to the left. Two-putt tap in for Chung Sil-gi. Imjini digs in the rough. Sung Eugene. Birdie here, take the co-lead. And then a chance to move outright on 18. But one step at a time. Starts back left. Just couldn't run that line.
이번에 대회 없을 때 한 주 쉬고.
일로 오면 몸으로 막아내야 되는 거 아니에요? 일로 오면 몸을 써서라도 막아야 될 것 같은데. 이거 맞고 한 달 병원 가자.
여기 딱 공 맞는 줄 알고.
플레이하겠습니다.
Fresh off her birdie, the honor belongs to her. Jockeying for position towards the featured group tomorrow.
Sure.
Just avoids the worst of the rough down the right side. Remains a popular landing point. And further down this par 5. Genie playing with third, trying to reach. Fairway wood back in hand. It's headed right and just gonna get stuck at the top of the hill. Not the worst of lies, but she was mere centimeters away from getting that roll down. Not quite going to be able to stay in. Finds the rough on the left. Well, she is a two-time winner. 4 top 10s this season. Her win at the Doosan match play at 225 million won. Prize for her. And technically, nobody in the first cut. 2 left, 1 right. And down the hill they go. Was a big opportunity for Sung Eugene on 17. She let it slip through the cracks, but has a chance to meet EA1 on this 18th and final hole. Young Yun So, the low M, just outside the top 10 with a +3 through 36 holes of play. Only 4 players under par, and our projected cut remains at +10, which is score currently held by 65 players. Of the 108 that began this tournament, we have whittled it down to 97 through various withdrawals. We're about to cut down another 30 in about 20 minutes' time. Stay with us here at Blue Heron. Second effort. Kim Soo-ji sees her advance. Not giving herself much wiggle room on the left side, but finding the fairway nevertheless. Genie, as it's perched up in the grass, gives her almost a tee. She strikes the ball well. This was the potential with Kim Soo-ji playing that tight line left, and it gets buried behind the trees. Kim Jae-hee coming back, not in time. It's about 4 feet past the hole. And now the second for Sung Yoo-jin. Her setup shot for the approach. From the backside of the green to about 6 feet away. So she taps in on a day that saw 7 bogeys, 2 birdies, and a 77 in round number 2. Genie, she's out with a 38 and a much more steady 35 on the way in. She finishes the day at even. It's 129, ball slightly beneath her feet in the stance. And that is trouble. Didn't clear the creek. Don't know if there will be a way out, and that might have just given EA1 a big boost heading into the 3rd round. Park Young finishes with a par. There's no doubt this wasn't the day she wanted. A +5, 77 after a round of 70 yesterday. Just outside of the top 10, down 8 spots from where she had started the day. Now trying to escape from around the trees. Another situation where she couldn't get the full loft on the ball, and it will see her roll all the way to the rough. Just pulled, and the head hung in frustration. Kimiani, not a good back nine in progress. It's another bogey. Let's play the approach, Kim Soo-ji, and now we start to wonder where in this creek is Sung Eugene. Jainu all the way down at +9. Inside the top 50, but it is a vast departure from where she was yesterday. +12 is what she's on pace for. Gone off to the right towards the trees. Only Kim Ji-hyun had a higher round today. Ma So-young as well. Was 13 and 14 respectively. So Eugene looks like she might have just escaped a penalty, which could be huge for her. Still has a chance to get up and down for par. Really nice touch. Play that shot within 3 feet.
글쎄.
Nicely deposited to the right side of the fairway. Just to get herself in with a shot for tomorrow. Won't be able to wait too long to try and charge up the leaderboard. Gone down into the rough, the blue flag to mark the ball. That is the final group to tee off today. Might get a new scuff on the wedge. Big moment to try and get up and down. Just gonna run it through the fringe and up the hills. Just not enough speed to get to the other side of that slope. Starting down closer and closer to about 3 feet. All of a sudden, the most important and hopefully final putt of her day. Slightly right to left and gone missed. Kim Soo-ji, a simple finish to the day with a par. 2 birdies and a par, that's all the drama. Otherwise, even scores on the other 15 holes. Has positioned herself into the final group tomorrow. Kim Yeon-hee trying to rip that through the rough and work as close to the end of the fairway as she can. Jung Soo-gi to finish as one of just 4 players under par at the midway mark of the tournament. 70 in the first round, 73 today. She'll be disappointed with how the last couple of holes went. 70 round 1, 71 today. She is joint second with Kim Soo-ji. She starts and ends the round with bogey. That leaves us with 1 group to play. First to approach, JNU at 143, her meterage. Be right, she's gone left, though she is on the green in regulation. Iron out of a tricky spot, 127. She gets a bit of a fortuitous carom and will be headed towards the left as well. .101 for Kim Yeon-hee in the final approach of the round. She caught that a little bit thick and it prevents her from reaching the green. the relaxing sound of the creek be our backing track. Up and down for par. It will be a day to reset for Gimiani. She might not need a putt, you know. Gets it to a foot or two shy. She is in sole possession of 10th. There is hardly a chance that that doesn't remain to be the case as she taps this in. Obviously she'll be disappointed as she had been at the top at the end of the day yesterday. Just needs to clean up those bogeys. Only one birdie. It came at 1. Probably thought she was going to be on for another scintillating performance. Wasn't quite to be, but we were given a masterclass and a lesson as to what she is capable of yesterday. She'd have to double bogey this hole to not make the cut. So that means she gets it there. Next 3 strokes, she'll be back for the weekend. But another case of a former leader to the wrong side in the wrong time for a bad performance. Chance to finish without dropping again would be just fine. It's a formidable try. Last hope for a birdie. Starts to break right. Not going to come back. Our only birdie today came at the par 3 11th. Bogeys on 2, 8, 12, and 16. And the double on 7. Taking a penalty. Trying to go from the rough on the left of the fairway to the right. Caught it at the toe and sent it slicing into the trees. OB, and the drop cost her. Done a fairly decent job stabilizing from there. A few too many bogeys. Trying to avoid one here. Takes a little extra second over the ball. And does have that par. So the 77 confirmed in round number 2. I'm sure there's a significant tinge of regret and frustration as she exits. Of course, that last win when she defended her title at the KLPGA Championship looms over her week in, week out. If anything, playing in the majors might give her a little bit of a boost of belief. She's a new winner this season. The Nixon St. Nine Masters. A difficult day at the office. No sugarcoating it. But her round yesterday ensures that she'll join us tomorrow despite an 84 in round number 2. And that concludes the day's proceedings. Let's revisit the best moments of this second round Friday, and we'll begin on hole number 4. EA1 at this point was at 1 under, 3 off the pace, but started to reach deep into that bag of tricks and pull out the approach game and the putting game that has made her so dangerous this season. Her first at the 4th, and there really wasn't much to slow her down from there. 1 hole later at the par 5 third, a lengthy putt of about 8 meters that she has no problem with, and almost in the blink of an eye, moved to within 1 of the lead. Next up we go to 6. Maybe the trickiest putt she will make all week. Downhill and the inch perfect line. Even she couldn't believe that it had some seeing eyes. After bogeying the first, that brought her back to even. Next is 7. And EA1, just a simple pitch up to the front. The backspin to all but guarantee a birdie. To the west course, 4 meters beneath the hole, she flies it up, goes to the back, and again, wonderful short game control. And the difference for her today that most wish they could have had, but couldn't say the same, is the putter was working for her as well. So up to 10, 4 birdies, and at that point, a 2-stroke lead at 5 under. On to 14, Sung Eugene. This time it's an uphill putt. About 10 feet out. That moved her to within 1 and 16. The wheels come off a little bit for EA1. Overhit and left, making a beeline towards the camera tower, and takes an unfortunate bounce, gets buried in the trees. She would go down, literally climb into the shrubs, see if there was a way to play it, realized she couldn't, back to the golf cart, to the tee, put it right there with her second attempt at the tee shot, and said, yep, no, I think I've had enough drama for the hole, thank you very much. So that made sure it was just the bogey. It was 2 and 4. There were some fallacies being shown in her game, but of course it was short-lived. The putter came back and did what it does best. Birdieing the 17th to move 1 clear. And as she was making that putt, we would go to 16. And this to keep the pressure on from Sung Eugene. It's nicely read, and the execution even better. Two birdies in a 3-hole window on 16 as well. Kim Soo-ji decided she was going to wake up for a late round charge, her first birdie of the day. And then 18 will be next. EA 175 meters out. It's almost incomprehensible how good those wedges are. Out with a 33 and with a 35, 4 under in round 2. And she occupies the sole spot atop the leaderboard. Sung Eugene would have a few difficulties getting to the green. Kim Soo-ji, despite being a bit short on the approach, no such problems as she holds out from the fringe. And then on 18, a bit lucky to avoid a penalty as she was right beside the creek. Needed that putt to par. Stay within 1, but she would drop. And we'll start the day with EA1 in the feature group, but the deficit is 2 with Sung Eugene. Chung Soo-gi with a 73 today at -1, the only 4 players under par. Im Jini -1 for the round as well. And there, Kim An-hee and Kim Yeon-hee, they round out the top 10. Yang Yeon-so at +3 through 36 holes. She is the low amateur in the field. Che Reem with a +3 today, as did Lee Dae-yeon, and so Jean Pungmin Jean even par round to move her to the top 20 after a disappointing day yesterday. Park Ju-young shoots a +7 after being 1 under yesterday. Ko Chi-won +6, Sung Ga-eun the same. Kim Ji-soo and Park Gyeol, 2 of the 8 players at +8, including that Chung Shi-woo +779 today. Pang Shin-shil amongst those who narrowly made the cut at +9. Ko Chi-woo shot a +10. Hyun Se-rin the same, and a +12 for Che Eun-woo as we had seen. Lee Na-gyung just sneaks in at +10, as does Kim Ga-young. Unfortunately, everyone over that marker, +11 or higher, will not be joining us tomorrow, but we hope you will for Moving Day Saturday. We will start the broadcast 2 hours earlier, so adjust your schedules accordingly. That is a 1 p.m. local time start here at Blue Heron. For our entire SBS Golf crew, I've been Adam Jenkins saying thanks for joining us. Enjoy your Friday evenings, and we will see you tomorrow for Moving Day, the final major of the season, the 23rd HITE JINRO Championship. Good night, everybody.